Hello, we're kind of the same deal. We're keeping our office sanitized. Anybody walks in, we're watching where they go, basically sanitizing right behind them. We have gloves available, masks available if people want them. We encourage people to bring their own masks if they'd like to. We've given people the several options from curbside closing, still signing in person if they like to. We also do have a extra office that doesn't have anybody in it, so a separate door people can come in if they're coming from out of state, something like that, so they can have a sterile room with just the closer there to explain things to them. Hand sanitizer, of course, before they start signing anything. New pens, take pens with them, and then we're sanitizing everything, door handles, everything after someone leaves. So that's what we're doing. Things are still busy. I think if everybody gets back to work, Billings is going to be good and keep rolling forward. So that's all we've been praying for, is people to get back to work and just get back to some sort of normal life, hopefully. So thank you, everyone, for doing your part and your support, and we appreciate what the industry's been doing.
All right, great. Thank you, Quinn. Lana.
Well, good morning. We're all surviving here. Of course, we are taking all the precautions like everybody is, with the hand sanitizers, masks, gloves. We are doing a lot of curbside closings. We have done some in-person closings, meeting more of the requests and the response of the customer and what they need, but definitely more curbside, keeping everything. Our doors are locked, everything's by appointment. Customers call when they get here. We've had agents show up and close with us out in the parking lot as well, or window to window. Everybody is grateful on the protections, I think, that we're all taking. So it feels good that they feel grateful and well protected and safe. And we're just going to continue what we're doing and go forward.
Great, thank you, Lana. Does anyone have any specific questions for any of the title companies? Anything you need to know, have been wondering about, need to know anything? No? Okay, well, and I saw that Brant Humphrey hopped on, so thank you. And Trina's on from Universal Lending, so maybe we could just get a quick update from the lending side if you have anything, Trina. And then Brant, if you have anything on the home inspection side that maybe you could provide us with any kind of updates on. Sorry to put you on the spot. I didn't tell you that, but I saw you were on, so I thought that would be good. So Trina, do you want to start on the lending side? Is there anything happening, going on that you want
probably more so that the unintended consequences, like right now, a lot of people are doing forbearances or asking for forbearances, but right now the agencies haven't changed their guidelines. So if somebody asks for a forbearance and they want to refinance down the road, they have to wait till they've made 12 consecutive payments before they can refinance their loan. So for anybody who knows friends, family, or anybody who is thinking about refinancing once this is all done, but they're also talking forbearance, maybe put that in there, that bug in their ear that Fannie and Freddie are going to require 12 consecutive payments before they can refinance. Lower credit scores are harder to get closed right now. All the servicers are still trying to figure out their place with the how they're going to make those payments for the borrowers who forbear their payments. But it's busy and people are still doing a lot of business and rates are still good. So, I mean, I'm glad I don't live in some of those other states, like back in 08.
Can I ask Trina a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What about when people are doing forbearances or things on student loans? Is that going to cause problems?
No, it's on mortgages. Yeah.
Good. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Trina that on the lending side of things? Oh, Jen, go ahead.
Hey, Trina. So you said that credit scores, like lower credit scores, are harder to get approved. I'm hearing a lot of talk too that just everything in general is getting harder to be approved on the loan side of things. Is that true? Are you seeing like loan to value needs to be higher, or debt to equity or debt to income needs to be higher, all that stuff?
We really haven't seen too much of that. Really critiquing employment. 3 days before closing, we're calling to make sure that they still are getting a paycheck and still employed. And then when we go to sell it, even the servicers at that point in time some of those servicers are actually calling to make sure that they are. So it's put some risk on the mortgage side of people that sell the servicing. But loan to values, I haven't seen any issues. Getting a lot of drive-bys, which is nice for the appraisers. Yeah.
Right on. Well, good.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Trina on lending? Nope, doesn't look like it. All right, Brant, would you be able to give us an update on kind of home inspection side of things?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on that. I was just keeping in to see what's going on because I'm interested in how everything else is going through. But it's still busy. It's changed the process significantly. Went from, the full scare of should we be suited up type of situation to a little more just a lot of sanitation going on during a home inspection. Now I've tried to improve, the efficiency for the amount of time in a home, but I've kind of followed hospital rules, sanitation inside on your way in, on your way out, anytime switching environments, inspect a room or an area. And on the way out, there's sanitation wipes on the switches, knobs, handles, anything that we're tinkering with. It's tough to tell a buyer or ask a buyer that not to show up because the walkthrough it's a pretty important part of what we do, the visual part. I'm offering video walkthroughs so they don't have to be there. And people have been pretty good about, and agents know this too, sometimes they'll show up with an entourage, 10 people for the walkthrough. They're a lot better about, the buyer or the two buyers being there and an agent. So we're minimizing the amount of contact we're in. And I try to, similar to like with showings, as opposed to before, I turn lights off as I go. So it's kind of a checklist for me now. I leave them on till the clients are gone. And then on my final walkthrough, turn everything off, wipe everything down. So there's a little bit more to the process now, but for me, it's one of those that I'm trying not. I check my temperature with my thermal camera, and those are actually, if you're watching, like Vegas with casinos, that's what they're going to be setting up. Their thermal cameras are way higher end than what I've got because mine needs to be closer than 6 feet to get a good reading on a human. Just the size of read because it takes an average. And so they're using those. That's what they're going to set up on places that are scanning people on the way in will be thermal cameras basically on the tear duct. But checking myself so that I'm not spreading it and then being super vigilant because I'm in an occupied home. If that house happens to have it there, I have to be very careful with what I'm doing so that I don't be contracting it or, cross-contaminating somewhere else along the way. But still doing inspections, just with a little bit more vigilance and a lot more sanitation.
That's what everybody's doing. Everyone's having more vigilance and more sanitation. That's the name of the game, I think, right now. Any questions for Brant on the home inspection side that you may have? No, you guys are so quiet this morning. Everyone's just quiet on a Friday morning. Good morning, Tom. I saw you just hopped on.
I just did, and I'm sorry for my delay, but thank you very much. And Shelley, thank you for organizing once again. It's great to see some added people on this time. Title
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah, all the title companies, you missed them, but they all kind of shared what they're doing, as well as
Thank you.
Trina from Universal Lending and Brant. So thank you guys all for hopping on. And now I think we can just open it up. Is there any general just questions or encounters that you've been experiencing? Yeah, Jen, go ahead.
I am just wondering what all of you are planning to do with your offices, because my understanding is that a lot of them are locked. Are you opening them, or what are your plans for the rollout of, I guess, the new normal?
Well, I'll jump in if you'd like, Jen, and respond to
Please.
that. And I'm sure there's some other comments. Obviously, when all this began, we took all the precautions as were suggested and probably went above and beyond, and not to go through a lot of that and be repetitious. But at the same time, I strongly encourage, and we're still under that practice, that our door, we've got a sign out in front explaining why and so forth, but our doors are locked from the sense that just the walk-in traffic appointments are made in advance. The agents are expected to be here to greet their client or have someone else take that position for them. Deliveries are, of course, allowed. We have them come in and drop off or deliver whatever it may be. And like all of you, we have the after hours mail slot. But at the same time, it seems to be working very well. People, I think, have been very understanding and pretty much expected practice, not just with us, but in many businesses, or with many businesses. However, the last couple of days, I've noticed agents not locking it as often, so the door's been left unlocked. But even at that, people were walking and being very respectful of the social space. We've got hand sanitizers, I'm sure all of you do, everywhere. Has not been a problem, and very thankfully, we've been free of the virus in-house up to this point, and let's hope that remains. But next week, I'm going to have the full staff back on site. Many have been working off-site remotely. We're keeping them here only for as long as need be, and then I'm sending them home, and they're available to take care of business from home from the full aspect. But next week, plan to be making some changes and, quite honestly, get it cranked up and try to get things back to as normal as possible.
Right on. Thank you.
We communicate, I do frequently, well, daily, probably multiple times, with other brokers, other Berkshire offices, and all over across the country. And I think we can be blessed, all of us in this part of the country, that we have not been hit nearly as bad as some other areas. Some of them are totally shut down, and some operating like we are. But at the same time, when I talk about opening the office again, they're just amazed. They can't believe that we're reaching that point. I think we are very cautiously, as you know, but we're very fortunate. We really are. Title companies, home inspectors have been extremely good to work with. I haven't heard any concerns, obviously a few bumps along the road, but at the same time, the title companies have been very, very congenial, whether it's the coming out to the vehicle or through the use of technology. Home inspectors are being extremely careful. Haven't had any issues with any of them related to the virus problems. So I'm proud of all of you, and which is why I hinted to Shelley that it'd be good to have some more on today, for the cooperation throughout this entire ordeal. As we know, we need the business and we rely upon the business. We have agents, we have staff, we have employees that we need to take care of, and things are rolling along pretty good, all factors considered. Very good.
Thanks.
Anyone else have any updates on their office specifically on kind of moving forward?
Trina, what about you guys? You have any plans at all?
Well, Nadine has actually been there we've had our office open this whole time. Nadine's been there by herself. There is talk that we'll stagger. Most of us, what we can do is, I like working at home. That's typically what I've done the last 10 years. So, but yeah, I think Tristy talked about going back, but maybe not all of us coming into the office at once and just having a couple at a time.
That makes sense. Thank you.
And the bar office will be open 8 to 5 starting on Monday. So we will be back to speed on Monday as well. Obviously taking precautions and everything that we need to do to keep all of the guidelines in check. So if you do need anything from the bar office Monday morning, we'll be back at it. So
Great.
any other questions or things people have thought of since all of this, or questions you may have, things you're dealing with right now that another agent may be able to help you with, or someone else?
I have questions just to see what you guys are planning for open houses. Planning to start up again, just letting 1 to 2 people at a time, and when you're planning on doing that.
Can I answer?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Shelley.
Okay, sorry, Tom.
No
Cozy,
worries.
I've got a seller who desperately wants an open house next weekend. And so I've been pondering that a lot, and I decided I ordered masks, so they'll be here Thursday or Friday. I've got hand sanitizer, I've got Clorox wipes, I've got the whole shebang. I'm going to give everybody a written thing that says, please wear the mask, do not touch anything. If you want something open that's not, because we'll open closets and all that stuff.
Right.
Please ask me for that, because I don't actually use gloves. I use my booty covers because I have a million of them, and I just throw them away. That way it's not a cross-contamination issue. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ask everyone to sign in case there is, someone comes, my seller gets coronavirus, even though he doesn't think it's real. In this particular case, be sure that we can trace back who've been in that house. So ask everyone to sign in. Just take all the precautions. And if they don't want to follow those precautions, they can make a private appointment to come to the house. That's how I'm going to handle it. If they want to come in, great, we welcome them, blah, 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 but please follow these rules or make a private appointment. Any private appointments need to follow the rules too, but I won't let hordes of people in, at one time either. It's a 3-level house, so it'll be easy to keep people apart for the most part, but that's just kind of where I'm at on that. And nobody else wants one right now. So, but that's going to change over the next couple of weeks. That's really going to change. So that's my plan.
I think that's a great plan, Shelley, and I agree with everything you said. Same with us. We've had a few of our sellers or clients say, hey, I want an open house. And I leave that up to the agent. I'm not telling them they have to. They're entirely their choice, using very, very extreme caution, as Shelley mentioned. I think we've got a couple this weekend, but going to work back into it very gradually, very slowly. Prefer that we not, open the door just yet. I think it's a little too early. But if the client wants one and the agent's willing to work it and they take all the precautions, I'm not going to tell them they can't.
Thank you. Those are all really great.
Yeah. It's good to see lenders on here too. And I would not ask, and I don't think any of us probably need to go into it too much detail, how it's affected your business. We all know kind of where we're at there. But what can we do as agents from the standpoint of lenders? Gina, is there something that, anything at all that you can throw out to us so we can hand down to the agents or share with each other that would help you in the lender standpoint?
No, I think you guys are doing a good job. Most of everything we do is over the phone, over text, over emails. And so realistically, probably setting expectations with the people when they are buying, though, that before there's only a few clients that you would just grit your teeth and hope that they can close on the deal. But every single one of them right now is that way, just depending on their employment. So setting the right expectations.
Sure.
We could get to the 11th hour, especially with the sellers, that we could get to the 11th hour and for nobody did it, but we won't be able to close because they don't have income.
Yeah. Well, if it's any positive news, and I don't want to be overly optimistic, but back during the 9/11, there was a lot of panic. What's this going to do to our market, and which affects every one of us, the lenders, the inspectors, the title companies, all of us. But at the same time, I was optimistic then, and it turned out to be true. And we are already receiving calls from outside of the area, inquiries about our rural properties prices, what's available, and all this type of thing. So let's keep our fingers crossed. It might just nothing in our favor coming from something so serious, but at the same time, from the business aspect, it could be a very positive situation, and I'm optimistic. We need to think of the bright side and hope that it helps us in the end.
Any other questions that any of you agents or anybody else has been experiencing or wants to ask others?
I wonder if anybody has gone after the PPP or the other stuff that they're offering for self-employed.
If you haven't,
If anybody has.
I could say,
Oh.
if you haven't, you should, and you should have. I know the money now is tight and has been exhausted in some areas, but that does extend beyond businesses. There's individuals as independent contractors, so take advantage of it. But read through the guidelines, specifically page 2, very carefully. We received some good advice from our legal and of course looked that over quite carefully. It's a great program, but like anything else, nothing is totally free.
Yeah, I've been looking into it and my bank won't call me back. It's been 3 days. I've been trying. So I see where I rate, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be easy to work with them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I actually applied at my bank that I usually bank at, and they ran out of funds right away. This was like the first week it came out, and I tried a different bank and got approved. So don't stop at just your bank. You can try other banks as well, even if you don't bank there. I had luck with that. So it was a pretty easy process, just like paperwork.
Yeah, so you can do the PPP, which they're adding money to it, but there's also, if you go to the SBA, the EIDL loan, even for independent contractors. That one, if you're independent contractor, you can get the $1,000 advance, and then they'll put you in for the extra any other monies that are possible there. There's not extra, obviously, but they did just pass more for the PPP. If you were not approved prior, you want to get a hold of whoever you were working with to make sure they still have that application and submitted. I had a guy help me do it. If you have someone help you prepare it, they give them money to do that too. Part of the bank, part of the process is that's where they're trying to feed that as well. But I haven't seen the PPP. They ran out the first time and it's been resubmitted now for me, but we'll see.
Thank you.
Shelley, how are things going at the bar? I mean, I know you've been minimal hours, but sounds like it's going pretty smooth.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. We've transitioned pretty much to Zoom. Zoom is everybody's world right now. You know, so I think we've been able to manage that and keep in contact with everybody. And we are opening 8 to 5 starting on Monday. We still will not have any in-person meetings at the bar until further notice. We don't know when that will be, but we'll continue with our Zoom. And I think the touts have been good on Zoom. People have been participating in those. We've done all virtual touts. I think probably about 20 people each week have been on those. So that's been positive to see. So yeah, I think like everyone else, we're ready just to get back to our new normal, whatever that may be. I was a little sad this week. It was supposed to be casino night. Tuesday would have been our casino night fundraiser, and so I was kind of just a little bummed all day Tuesday knowing that we weren't doing casino night. We are looking at a fall date to reschedule casino night too. So again, just really not knowing what the future is going to hold for anything with events. We did cancel the membership luncheon in May. I think that was scheduled for the 21st. So we won't have a luncheon in May as well. So So
Okay.
yeah, we miss
Thank you.
everybody too.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know, we had our first Zoom board meeting yesterday, and I thought it went really well. And I hope that we will offer all of our meetings, committees, board meetings, everything for anybody in membership who wants to view or participate on Zoom, because we have limited space as it is. And I just think we could really reach a lot of our membership if we opened everything up that way. Not that everybody stay home and not ever come in, but just for more participation of our membership. I think it would be great. And I really thought that was kind of the part of the reason we did all that stuff for the Zoom room. So I really hope we take what we've learned from this and use it to be a bigger branch out to our membership for all of our meetings, all of the things that go on at the association.
Yeah. And we've
People
talked
don't know
about
what's going on.
about continuing education. I mean, continuing education, we don't know when we would be able to do an in-person continuing ed class. I mean, but we now know we can successfully do continuing education, I think, just as effective over Zoom and still give people that option. So yeah, I agree, Shelley. I think we should offer that, and people have been responding to it. So.
For those of us who didn't like the video, it sure has helped me become a little more comfortable behind a video screen.
We've all had to get out of our comfort zone, right, Trina?
Yes, yes, we have.
I'm
How
still
we
trying to
grow.
figure out the highest angle I can put a camera and look best in my office.
Well, it's one thing for sure. It's of course, for me now, I seem to find myself sitting in an office quite often, but just the same, it's really opened the eyes and made us step back and realize how important we are to each other, supporting each other, not just agents working with agents, because we know that can get contentious at times, but the lenders, the inspectors, the title companies, the bar, the banks, I mean, everyone, how important we are to each other and how critical it is when you miss just one cog in that wheel, it can throw things out of whack. Hopefully the closeness that I've experienced and have realized continues, and we realize how, professional, how important we are to each other. We need to continue that, the closeness. As you know, it's a very competitive business in many ways. It's easy to point fingers. It's easy to be critical of people. And I think a lot of that's been put aside, which has been good, which has been very good. So.
And I'm ready to get my hair done.
Yeah.
Something that is so awesome.
I dyed my own the other day. It's too light.
Good for you.
I've been doing that for years. I just seem to get the wrong color. I don't know.
No, I'm excited. I can't wait till we get back to whatever normal is it's gonna, whatever normal becomes. But
Yeah.
I miss all you guys. I miss seeing you.
Yeah. Well.
Anything else this morning? Other questions anybody has or wants to discuss?
No, I think it's good we stay in touch. And my apology to everyone for jumping on late. It certainly was not intended, but at the same time, thank you for understanding.
Of course. I did forget to start the recording right away, so I missed about the first 5 minutes of this. So I was like, oh, I forgot to push the record button. So we did miss a few of our first comments, but I will get this posted, and I'll have Will post it to Message of the Day as well. So if anybody wants to, share it or forward it on to anybody who wasn't on this morning, it'll be available for viewing. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to everybody for all your hard work and keeping going, and we'll get there.
Stay safe.
Thank you. See you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
You guys have a great weekend.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye now.
Bye.